our goal is to discover, develop and transact the next generation of high-value copper-gold deposits in our home province of British Columbia. Our first step in doing this was to assemble a team which is second to none in copper-gold discovery and transaction in Western Canada. And the second step was we have assembled 3 large, high-potential copper-gold districts. On one of them, Joy, we are backed and working in collaboration with Freeport-McMoRan, who are one of the world's foremost copper producers. On another one, Duke, our funding partner is Boliden, the integrated Swedish mining smelting group. And on the third large district, AIK, we are self-funding that project. The deals and the agreements with Freeport and Boliden give us access to up to $200 million of non-share dilutive financing. For that, those entities can earn up to a 70% interest in our projects. We had an absolutely tremendous year last year. We spent over $23 million drilling. We drilled over 29,000 meters across our 3 projects, and the team delivered. We have discovered one of the most rich, if not the richest known copper-gold porphyry in British Columbia. It's known as Aurora. It is located in our Joy district. And this morning we announced yet another discovery from the Joy district known as Twins. So Freeport to date, and one thing I should say first actually, Amarc operates all of these districts for both Freeport, Boliden, and we operate our own district, AIK. So Freeport to date, to the end of last year, have invested approximately $33 million in our Joy district. We have drilled over 36,000 meters with them. We've done extensive airborne and ground surveys. All of that work culminated in the discovery of the Aurora high-grade deposit and the Twins discovery this year. We'll talk mainly in this presentation about Joy and those discoveries. But at Duke, Boliden have invested $20 million into our project. They're going to invest this year. Amarc is known for its credible, systematic exploration approach. The Duke exploration trajectory for us is a couple of years behind that of the Joy. So watch that space on Duke. We feel that this district can also produce. We also went out this year, self-funded, and we drilled the AIK district. We were out there drilling high-grade, 1% to 3% copper equivalent, historic replacement type deposits. We have not put the drill results out from there yet because we were still drilling at the end of November. They'll come out shortly, but I'll give you a little bit of a taste of AIK at the end of the presentation. So every success begins and ends with the team, and this is the team I do have the privilege of heading up every day. They have many accolades from across Canada for their discovery and transaction successes globally. Those transaction successes have been to both the big gold producers and the copper producers. The type of deposits we look at, porphyry deposits, they are very attractive to both those end member producers. So Joy, Duke and AIK, you can see the locations there. We'll start off with Joy. Joy is located in northern British Columbia. There are 3 very important points about this slide. One, our tenure is located next to the Commerce Mining District held by Centerra Gold. There is one deposit in this area of BC called the Tutagon, porphyry copper gold, that has been mined out. Who was it discovered by? Members of the Amarc team discovered, developed, and successfully transacted it. On the back of that mining development, there is infrastructure into this area in terms of power and road. But most importantly is this hooked blue arrow. You've all heard of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. The big world-class deposits are actually hosted there by 200-million-year-old rocks. They wrap round and come down through our district. We have the right rocks. Our tenure is 500 square kilometers. These are big districts. They need commitment, guts, and most of all, dollars, big dollars to explore systematically. These are the results of our induced polarization ground geophysical survey. All these pink and red areas, these are big sulfide systems. A lot of companies will only have 1 or 2 of them. We're developing clusters of trends of them, and they are pregnant with copper. The last one we got to drill this year was the Aurora deposit, which is hosted in the Northwest Gossan. That's where we made the big discovery. It was last for logistical reasons. Just before I leave this slide, I want to point out the grey shaded area. That's a property we've acquired the right to earn 100% of recently. This is what Northwest Gossan target looks like. It's 5 to 7 square kilometres of Gossan or rusty rock. Nobody had ever drilled here. We did ground and airborne surveys. The first 2 fences of holes that we announced in January took our market cap from about 35 million to 160 million. It was a great month for us. We put out fences of holes, and we knew we had high-grade intercepts over 600 metres width. Those drill holes, they reside in this big sulfide system, which is 4 square kilometres. It is underexplored. We will be back out there on the ground this summer with Freeport doing further work. This is a zoom-in of our discovery, 20 drill holes initially into the discovery. The 4 sections of drill holes we put out this morning, these are, ladies and gentlemen, incomplete sections. We got here at the end of the season. We were staying at the Kemess mine camp. They had to invite us to leave in mid-October because they needed to winterize the camp. But these sections are all showing that this deposit is open to expansion. Red is copper, gold is yellow. This is one of the discovery section we put out first. 57 is the discovery hole. We have high grade. Look at our news releases. We put out intervals sample by sample by sample. Every sample hits high grade gold, 1, 3, 4, up to 8 grams per ton gold. We have strong copper, 0.4 to 1% copper on a sample by sample basis. Strong silver. This leads to 1 to 3% copper equivalent. This grade comes in at or near surface. It is vertically consistent. It is laterally consistent. As we know it at the moment, it is a flat-lying deposit. These are the kind of grades. I'll let you look at the gold and copper columns. The only mine that's been mined out in the Tutagon is the Kemess mine. It was 0.63 grams per ton gold and 0.21% copper. You can see why this ignited people's interest in British Columbia and further afield. The grades are very, very good, and the sections continue. The other discovery we put out this morning, we put a short hole in the other year. We pulled an intercept out of about 0.11% copper equivalent. Now, this would not have lit your hair on fire, but, you know, for us explorationists, it was very interesting. We put a long hole in, and we've drilled straight into a copper-gold porphyry system. This is, I haven't got time to talk about this, but we're expanding the Pine historical deposit. Canyon is another discovery we've made. So in this district, this has changed the concept of exploration across the Tutagon. We now have our high-grade starter pit. We've got expanding historical deposits. We've got other discoveries. We've got a pipeline of deposit targets to drill off. And we haven't even scratched the surface in exploring most of this district. This is an incredibly potential district, and there's a lot more to come out of it. Very, very briefly, with Boliden, we're in central BC. It's a copper-gold belt. We've been working, drilling off the moderate-grade but valuable Duke deposit, and we're now going out into our 700-square-kilometre district. Systematic exploration again to come up with those drill targets. This district is 1 to 2 years behind in its exploration trajectory compared to Joy. Watch this space. We expect that district to produce as well. Our third district is the Ike. It's located in southern British Columbia. This is the heartland of copper production in the whole of Canada. What should impress you on this slide is the amount of infrastructure. We have power, we have road, we have access to rail in comparatively short distances to our project, which is anchored on the Empress and Ike deposits. This is what the terrain looks like. We have made a fairly significant copper, moly, silver, Ike deposit. It's porphyry discovery a couple of years ago. But where we've been out drilling this year is the higher grade Empress and Empress East deposits. Why were we out there? This is the kind of grade that was pulled out in those old deposits. 70, 80 meters, 1% copper, multi-gram gold, moly and silver. That translates at reasonable recoveries into 1 to 3%. These are not the same thicknesses as Aurora, but they are very good grades and very good intervals. This is a cross-section through those two historical deposits, Empress and Empress East. We were out there drilling in November, expanding those deposits internally and laterally. There is a gap between them called the Empress Gap. It's 1.5 kilometers. You can see some shallow historical holes and one long hole by a former proponent. They hit copper and gold, and what they're telling us is to keep drilling here, keep going. Those two historical deposits, we could join them up, and if we do, that's another great discovery in the province of British Columbia. So to summarize, we have a great team. We know our jurisdiction. We have great partners which we're working closely in collaboration with, which give us access to a lot of funds. They've already funded us to the tune of 55 million. We are making very significant discoveries. We are unlocking that shareholder value and that value for our transaction partners. There's a lot going on in this company, and we're looking forward to a very, very productive 2025. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.